Yeah, so have you guys ever been interested in Japan living? Because that's something that's interested me for quite a while. So today I thought it would be really cool to look at a lot of traditional and just awesome and kind of weird Japanese apartments. And you tell me if you could live this way. Let's get into it. So this right here is a $200 apartment in Japan. Um, Probably not in Tokyo
Today,
though.
let me tour you to our $200 or 20,000 yen apartment. When you are at the Genkan, you will see the kitchen with stove, sink, oven, and fridge. Our semi-furnished apartment comes with a washing machine, another sink with mirror with lights on top, and our shower/bathroom, and our toilet with bidet. Moving on, we are going to our bedroom. It is a 6 tatami room bedroom with TV and aircon. Here is our little cabinet, and going to the next room, we got a table and 2 chairs and a storage space. We might move some things around, but that's about it. Bye! Today, let me tour you.
I mean, I would totally live there. How about you guys? I think that's pretty good. For $200, that's a really nice apartment. I mean, there's a lot of places here, especially in larger cities, where you could be living in something quite a bit worse than that for way more than 200 a month. So that's pretty awesome. Let's look at the next one. So this next one here is actually, um, let's see. Yeah. So this next creator right here, he's gonna show us this house that he discovered in Tokyo. So this is a really crazy apartment, and I looked it up at like 40,000 yen per month. It's about $280, something like that. So yeah, it's really cheap and it's in Tokyo, but yeah, just watch and see.
Right inside, but you have to see this building from the outside to truly appreciate it at scale. Because this here, that is the entire building. That's the whole thing. It is 5 floors of triangular goodness. It's essentially like living in a Toblerone bar. And just for a little bit of perspective, here is the width of the building's edge contrasted against me.
Holy crap.
It is quite a sight to see. Let's head inside and take a peek because it's not just a triangle from the outside, and it has a handful of small problems aside from the shape that make it a massive challenge to live in. The area is beautiful, by the way. It's at this
I mean, I really like a challenge trying to fit into a place and organize it and everything. I think I'm pretty good at organizing, but I mean, that looks a little claustrophobic even for me.
5 point crossing in the Nerima area of Tokyo, but our first major challenge today is going to be this stairwell. Aside from the lack of vertical clearance
Oh,
and
jeez.
proper width to be able to get through here, the stairs themselves are
That
actually
looks like a
incredibly
bus.
narrow
Have you ever been on one of those two-story buses? That's like what the stairs look like.
and shallow, and I've got to hold on to this center pole
No,
basically
thank
the
you.
entire time I'm going up just for safety. And
Can you imagine coming home with groceries and trying to carry your groceries up that staircase?
amazingly, every single unit here is occupied except for the one that we're checking out today. I have been waiting a year for this, and a real estate friend of mine who runs a YouTube channel of his own, I'll link it, hooked me up with the keys today, so huge gratitude. Wow. Okay, so there's just about enough space to take off my shoes. There it opens into a kitchen area, and I have questions about the shower area here.
What?
Mostly on account of this door height, but let's take a peek. So the door doesn't open.
That is not even a door.
Close the door,
What the
and I
heck?
basically take up the entire space.
That's actually not a bad shower space.
Not
It's
a bad
pretty
shower.
much got everything that you need. It's got a shower right
It's not a
here,
good
and it's
shower.
got a bath that I'm really wondering if I would even fit in. Okay, so curiosity.
I feel like that's rough
and I have to
living.
know if I would fit in the bath, and
I feel like yes, it's livable, I guess. You could make yourself live there, maybe, so far, sorta. I don't know. But like even though it's in the middle of Tokyo and it is kind of cheap, I feel like you'd either really have to be hurting for money to live there or kind of crazy.
that is actually not a bad bath. I could do that. Do you think you could?
No.
The hermit I stayed with in the mountains had a smaller
But maybe
bath
that's
than
'cause
this.
I'm
Then he had an
5'9".
entire house to himself, and as an added bonus, you've got a window.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
no matter
selling
how small your
point.
place is, a bath with a window is always nice. And there's a little. Can you call this a kitchen space?
No, you
Barely
cannot.
enough space to stand here, but you have a tiny sink with no counter, a single induction heater. This little fridge here, if you're lucky, might just be big enough to fit a single iPhone.
Oh god.
It fits. We'll talk about this magical little device in a second, but the room itself does not look like this. It doesn't look like this.
So that's the only room in this entire place. So I think apartments like this are pretty common in Japan, not like in such a crazy shape, but just the size. Like you can find some pretty micro apartments for like people more on a budget. And I think what's really crazy about this, I think in the US there are laws against having anything with this small of a space because you can't call it an apartment unless it has like, you know, a fire escape and a certain amount of space. But yeah, imagine that little tiny room, and he's gonna show you like in just a second, like perspective wise, how much room he has. But that has to be where you eat. That has to be where you watch TV. That has to be where you sleep. So you'd have to get one of those beds, you know, that you roll up and everything and put in the cupboard. Um, yeah. So
Either or this, or even this. And punching the lens in only makes it smaller and worse. The only way to really understand this place is to look at it from above. My hands can touch
That's
both sides. I have
crazy.
seen pictures of this place.
like, can you even lay completely out without like balling your knees up? Like, could you actually stretch out?
But nothing compares to seeing this in person and just how tiny this room is. For perspective,
quite imagine.
if I were to be in here wearing my backpack,
Like,
or if the
even if he laid just like catty corner, like across it, I mean, from one corner to the other, he might be able to stretch out, but then he'd have his feet kind of like jammed into the corner. That's, I don't
were
know.
a sofa, there would barely be enough space to fit one, maybe two more people. Let's. You know, what are the measurements?
room
Now, the floor
only.
plan for this says that you're getting over 11 square meters, but
Okay, so I kind of skipped ahead a little bit because he just measures and talks about the size a lot. So now he's gonna look at this. This is actually a washing machine. So let me make this bigger. Oh, just so you know, this creator is called Tokyo Lens. So yeah, go to his channel, like and subscribe. He's got a lot of really cool apartments that he goes through. Let's see.
And I also wanted to show you this, which is apparently a portable washing machine, which can wash up to one t-shirt or 3 pairs of socks, maybe
Well, hot
4
dang.
if you're lucky. Didn't even know stuff like that existed, learning every day. The toilet is actually out here. We've actually got to go to the front door.
Yeah, you can look up those little tiny washing machines on the internet and you can buy those. Those are pretty crazy. Like, they advertise it that you can use it for travel or whatever, so you can like wash a pair of socks or something on the road. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Put your shoes back on, and then your toilet
Oh no.
is going to be right here.
It's outside.
Now, luckily, each floor or unit does have their own toilet space. It is not a shared toilet situation, but here's what
Imagine if you came out of your apartment because you had to go to the bathroom and there was somebody else struggling up or down the stairs and you had to wait for them to pass you before you could go to the bathroom.
it looks like. Now the door
That would be a
itself
no
doesn't
deal for
even
me.
Open all the
Just
way.
the bathroom
and
space. No.
This is your toilet space.
They could hear you and smell you from the stairwell. No, thank you. Oh my god.
That is basically the entire thing. You have a little sink on top, but standing up inside may be a challenge for some people. And let's watch the claustrophobics freak out when we close the door.
Oh no.
That is the entire toilet space. And with limited ventilation, it does get very hot in here. It's not the kind of place that you
Yeah,
would
he's
want
already
to be in the depths of
sweating.
summer.
Imagine the smells.
But as for let me get out of here. It is
Or
really
don't.
warm. But as
That's
for those
gross.
warnings that I got. Now I've only ever gotten a warning like this one time before, and
And the warning he's talking about is he is not allowed to like talk to the other residents or anything. He has to leave everybody alone, I think.
It was when I shot a video about a $100 apartment here in Tokyo, and I was recommended just not to approach the residents because they may not be friendly, welcoming, or even want to talk. And here I wasn't really given a reason. They were like, it's probably a good idea if you just don't approach the residents. Mind you, this building itself is actually fairly well known. The sign is kind of blocked right now, but it's called the Sankaku Biru, or Triangle. It's literally called the Triangle Building. So my assumption was that they've just gotten too much media attention because it is a fairly well-known building. But when I asked, they were like, no, that's not why. You just probably shouldn't. I'm so curious.
I'd be a little scared.
What do you think it could be? Why should I
don't
not approach the
know.
residents? Alright, I actually just made my way up to the 5th floor.
The girl
and
from the ring
door
lives there.
Here is off of its hinges, and it seems like the apartment inside has been completely abandoned. I think I'm gonna use a 360 and get a bit of a peek.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh.
That is wild. And
Like
it's
a
little bit
shut-in
unfortunate
probably
because
lived
this seems
there.
to be the only unit that actually has a balcony as well. That is trashed. That's too bad. But would you live here? Would you live in this?
What if somebody actually still lives there? Because there are people that live like that, and he just like props his door up when he's gone.
Tiny triangle apartment, weirdly shaped. People always ask me if I would, and my first apartment in Japan was way smaller than all of this. I also did not have a kitchen. I spent most of my time out of the house anyway, and I didn't really own anything since it was my first year in Japan. So yes, I would 100% live here.
Yeah, I think that if it wasn't for the fact that the bathroom was out in the hallway, I might be able to get past it, especially if I didn't live too high up on the stairs, so it wasn't too hard to carry my groceries in. The size-wise is challenging, but I think I could do it. I really like a challenge when I'm trying to like organize my space and keep it like all nice and everything, because I like a really clean apartment. But I don't know, what about you guys? Tell me down below. So this next one is a brand new construction, and it's right outside, well, he'll tell you where it is, but it's like right outside of Tokyo, about a half an hour by train. And this is a newer place that has been set up more, I think, I don't know, it gives me more of a European feel, but it's still got that Japanese charm. So let's check it out. At $500 a month, that's still super affordable. And this is Retro Japan, so that's his channel. Let's check this out.
Okay, welcome to MTV Cribs Japan. We're going to be doing an apartment tour today. So I moved in about a month ago now. This apartment block is actually brand new. They finished building this about 2 months ago, and for the price it is, you know, I think it's a really good value. I don't live.
Hold on, he said 2 months ago. Let me just check out when this was actually published. So 1 year ago. So this is still fairly new.
Live anywhere like in central Tokyo. I live in Chiba, which is the prefecture that's just over from Tokyo, but it's very accessible. There's a train station just down there. It's literally like a 5-minute walk from here, and the trains come every 10 minutes, and you can get into central Tokyo in about 30 minutes, right? So just kind of the start, you know, you've got your standard bike area. This is actually my prized possession, which I don't actually use anymore because the train station is so close. This is actually my third apartment that I've been living in since I've been in Japan for the last 5 or 6 years.
I don't know, for me, I'm really interested in Japan and the way they live. I think it's really cool how the aesthetic of it, just like everything has a purpose and everything is like really thought about. Something as small as the delivery boxes that he's going to show us up there, or just the cleanliness, the bike racks, how everything is so like put together and organized. I don't know, I just think it's really nice.
Years now, and I was always cycling around because the station was so far away, but you know, since it's so close now, I never really used it. So this delivery box is pretty cool. It's pretty common in other countries, I assume, but you know, it's pretty useful. Delivery drivers can come and just like, if you're not in and you have a big package, they can just chuck it in here and shut this. They can set a pin here, lock it, and then put the pin through your letterbox here. All right, let's head inside.
That's pretty cool. It's like they think of everything.
I don't actually have a physical key, so I just have to use this card key
Oh, it's like a hotel.
to unlock the door. It was already it was already open. Magic, right?
That's
Here we
pretty cool.
go.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, so obviously down here we've got the Genkan area. This is where you take your shoes off, otherwise bad things happen. So this is the main kind of living area, I suppose. You have the kitchenette here.
See,
You've
that's
got the
spacious.
kind of dining room area here as well.
Japanese kitchens as a whole usually are pretty small. I think a lot of times, unless you get like a really, really expensive Japanese apartment, that's just the impression that I get. So this looks more, to me, it looks more like Western, just because it's like bigger and there's like built-in burners and everything. So
all of this stuff here had to be built and bought. The only thing that really came with the kitchen was this. This is a pretty spacious kind of kitchenette area for a Japanese apartment. Like I said, this is a brand new apartment, right? So I'm quite lucky to have, you know, such a big sink. This is pretty rare. My old apartment was probably about half the size of this.
Yeah.
So this, you want to come around and have a look at this tab? It's pretty cool. It's got like a built-in
oh, that's pretty
filter
cool.
here, so you can just press this.
I have a really bad luck with those little like sprayer things. Every time I get one of those, for some reason it just stops working after a minute, and like it starts leaking or it gets stuck or something, and I can't even use it. So I think it's just me and my bad
That's
luck.
filtering the water, or if you're just doing your standard washing,
Oh, that's
you can
pretty
just use that
cool.
option there.
That's pretty cool.
Okay, and this is my fridge where I keep all of my foodage. One of my favorite items being natto. I don't know if you're familiar with this. This is fermented soybeans. Goes really well on rice.
Everyone
In fact,
says that
let's
I've
whip up a plate
heard
now.
talk
actually.
about natto, that it's actually pretty good, but it looks weird. I'm not sure how I'd feel about it. I can't wrap my head around what they say the taste is like,
Challenge is
so
trying
I
to
don't
figure
know.
out which
And the
which of
texture
the
just
plants
looks
in this
so
apartment
weird.
are real and which are fake. I'll leave that up to you to decide. Standard table built and bought from IKEA. So you got these panels here on the wall, right? This one here, it's pretty cool. You can see who's been knocking at the door.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It has a camera of the front entrance of the apartment, and then you got
And let's just keep in mind, this is a brand new construction, and all of these little cool electronics and gadgets are in a $500 a month apartment in a new construction area. Like, America could never.
one downstairs as well. And anytime someone knocks on the door or rings the doorbell and you're not in, it will like record the video here.
That's awesome. That should be
Bam.
standard on all new
There's me
construction
when I
builds.
forgot my key and got locked out. Okay, and then coming over to this next panel, this is probably the best part of the apartment in my opinion. A lot of modern Japanese apartments do have this. This is basically for setting the hot water and running the bath and things of that nature, right? And you know, you can just
That's
press this
cool.
on, right?
Okay, that's something about Japan too, which I think is really cool. So like we have water heaters in our basements or, you know, in a closet somewhere, and it's just constantly heating water. So like every time we want to take a bath or something, we've just got that whole thing full of hot water, and it's just constantly using energy to heat it up. But in Japan, rather than having like a water heater that's just always going, you basically, anytime you want hot water, you set the hot water and it will heat up enough for like whatever you're doing. So if you want to do like a bath or something, you tell it and it'll do it. So it might take like 20 minutes or so, but rather than wasting all that energy like all the time, it does it like right when you need it. So I think that's kind of cool.
So you have your bath temperature here and the hot water temperature, right? You have these various functionalities. So for this one here, Jidor, you can run the bath automatically from the kitchen, which I think is pretty nice. You can schedule your bath, so if you're gonna go out and come back and you know when you're coming back, you can schedule when you want your bath to run. I think that's pretty neat.
Awesome.
This apartment is actually a 2 LDK, right? So 2 rooms, a living room, dining room, kitchen, right? I guess this is the dining room, kitchen, living area, right? And this is one of the 2 rooms. So these are you kind of see these a lot in Japanese apartments, especially newer Japanese apartments. You just have these sliding doors, right? So you can kind of make it one large room if you want to, or you can have like a separate room,
That's
which I
neat.
think is quite nice actually.
Yeah.
It looks a lot more spacious. I actually work remotely. I work at home, right? So I was trying to make this place
That's
as
a nice
comfortable as
sized room.
possible, right? Because I'm going to be here
They
all
even
the
got
time.
carpet
So
in it.
this is my working desk. This is where I spend the majority of my day.
Is that a standing desk?
Yeah, it is actually a standing desk. It's pretty sweet, right?
A few moments later.
I think it's pretty important if you're working remotely to have a
That's
standing
cool.
desk. One
That's
thing that was really important to me was the lighting. I don't know why, I'm just a I'm big on lighting, right? So I got these lights here from IKEA. I got one over here and one here as well.
Let's
So
go.
in the evening,
Let's
when
go
the
forward a little bit to where
if you
he's
follow me
got his
through
bathroom.
the corridor here, we'll be moving over to the bathroom area. This is actually a really modern looking bathroom sink area for a Japanese apartment. But yeah, it just looks clean, it looks nice. These mirrors are actually all storage areas, so I got all my skincare in here, right?
Hit the like button for the skincare routine.
Yeah, yo, hit the like button for the skincare routine as well. One thing that I think is pretty cool about this is actually this button down here heats the mirrors. So if you're, doing something like having a shave and all the steam's coming up from the water, where the mirror gets heated up, and which stops the steam from going over the mirror, right? Which is pretty cool. So this is the bathroom area. This is actually a really big bath for a Japanese apartment. You have the panel over there as well, where you can set the bath temperature and the shower temperature. It's the same panel that's in the kitchen as well. This is a wet room, so in Japan, the shower room and the bath is just part of the same room, the whole
Yeah, like they'll have the wet room and then they'll have like the toilet room, and they're always separate.
room gets wet. So before you get in the bath, you will take a shower, get clean, then get in the bath. Kind of the
bath
same
is
thing
just, like,
that happens at the
relaxation.
Japanese onsens as well, except you're not surrounded by a bunch of other naked men. You come through here. We're moving on to the throne room now. It's a Japanese toilet, right?
Like the audio when he said naked.
Comes with
men.
all the gadgets on the side there. You can play around with that. This is a perfect place, I think, to read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. This is a fantastic book, and I think there's no better place to read about, a Roman emperor's philosophy than when you're taking a shower. It is impossible for bad
Oh my
men not
gosh.
to act in. Hey, get out of here! Get out of here! Well, since you're here, let me just kind of break down the toilet as well. You got these gadgets on the side here, right? So this toilet seat is actually heated. Now that might sound weird, but once you sit on these heated toilet seats, you won't ever want to sit on a cold one again. And if you follow me through here, this is the master bedroom. I haven't
is a
quite
really nice
finished
sized
this room
bedroom.
yet. Obviously, I got the bed in place. Don't mind my little friend there; he's just chilling. So yeah, this room is largely unfinished from an interior design perspective. So there's still quite a bit of work to
That's
do
a
here.
really
But yeah,
comfy,
this is
good
where the
sized room.
magic happens,
Yeah.
and what I mean by that is 8 hours of solid sleep every single night. Yeah, so it's a pretty convenient location actually. I'm very close to the supermarket, which you can see right there. Like,
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't know. What do you guys think about apartments in Japan? What do you think about like the price ranges? If you want to share below, what do you pay for rent? And would you live in one of these apartments for just the cheaper rent alone? Or do you like a challenge and you like smaller spaces? Or would you never because you need like your walk-in closets in your space? Let me know in the comments. And let me go back to this first video really quick. What is the creator's name? Teacher Dane. Okay, I just wanted to shout out all the creators on this channel, so everybody gets credit. So, yeah, I'm done for today. Bye.